Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Good morning. Happy Thursday morning. Welcome to Company Culture with Yvette C. Owens, where we explore the behaviors of companies, corporations, organizations. Anytime people come together to fulfill a vision or mission, they are in a corporate setting. They're in a company of people. So that's what we're talking about in with company culture with Yvette C. Owens. I talk about um, how people really are perceived, how your organization is perceived internally by those you've invited to come along with you on your journey, as well as those who you are looking to serve, the communities with which you're in. It's my pleasure to be here. Let me just um, add some information here where you can know how to reach out to me and connect with me. Let's see if that's what I want. If you join, as you're joining, please share this with those who you are partnering with, your friends, your families, your colleagues. I look to bring things that will help people along their journey, specifically either in the workplace or as they are walking in organization situations. So I wanted to just share with you today about walking away free. How about that? Let's walk away free. Again, if you're just joining, this is Yvette C. Owens. Please share this. I am coming to you from Company Culture with Yvette C. Owens. That's my weekly podcast. You can also find this on SoundCloud. So if you would please go to SoundCloud and register, or Spotify and download and share, so that more people can experience it. Also on YouTube, on all the RSS feeds, iTunes, Amazon, iHeartRadio. There are plenty of places where people can find this. Today, walk away free. And this came triggered for me from the perspective that as I was really seeing some posts about an organization that I was a part of, and seeing people post positive things about that organization. And it started triggering in me negative feelings because I didn't have the same experiences with that organization that those other people did. And I don't try to inflict upon them how they should feel, because each one of us experiences things very differently. And that is okay and that is good. And if I went through something with an organization and had a negative situation, but else has a positive situation, absolutely wonderful. Praise God. Right? Either that organization had a better connection with that individual, or they may have learned how to do better, be better. Maybe we all improve, we all evolve, and organizations evolve as well. Leaders evolve as well. And I am so elated if other people who are now experiencing that organization can really have a positive experience with them, to the point that they want to promote them. They want to make sure that people know how great a workplace that is. Kudos to everybody there. And so I had to realize that where I thought I was okay, where I had thought that I had conquered the corporate enemy, that mindset, those personalities, those situations, I had done a lot of work in that space internally. But if I'm being triggered by the fact of seeing someone post something about an organization or about an individual that I had a negative um, experience with, then something's still there that needs to be healed. And that's why I thought that we should talk today about walking away free. And it took me back to a moment where I was able to actually do that after a long period of time and I'm being truly transparent after a long period of time of asking questions. Why did they treat me that way? Why did this happen? Why did this play out in this scenario? And this is with a totally different organization. Um, this was the one and only organization that I was actually told to leave, which had never happened before. I never knew. Um, I never expected that to happen, especially because in my heart of hearts, I was there serving to the best of my ability. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I was serving to the very best of my ability, giving as much as I could to that organization. When I came there, it was known to that organization and even myself that it was a mid stop. It was a milestone place for me to a pit stop, if you will, to get over some healing that I had to get over from another organization, from leaving all of that really toxic teaching, toxic behaviors behind. And this was that mid place that, if you will, if it was like in a desert, the oasis, it was supposed to be that type of place where I could get refreshing. And it was a much smaller organization than what I had left. And I needed to be detoxed from poor teaching. I needed to be detoxed from abuse. I needed to be detoxed from individuals who were trying to control my life at that time. And I get it. Some of you who are really strong and never go into anything, you're saying, "Oh, I never let anybody control me." Good for you. That's not my story, and it's not the story of a lot of people. So this place was supposed to be that place, and to come to an event one evening and then be called in the office and said, "You got to leave." It was like, what? That just doesn't happen. And so that was very hurtful place. I didn't know what to do with that. I never knew anybody who had gone through that experience. And so it was like, I have given so much. I've tried, even though I knew it was a hard place for me to be in, even when I was there. But I thought it was all because of the detoxing and the shedding of old ways, that it was my growth that was making it hard. Um, but obviously, it was a little more than that. So I was carrying around this weight, even though I was no longer with that organization, and I was driving down 91 South to an event where a speaker was speaking, and that speaker had actually helped um, walk me through part of this journey after being dismissed from this organization. And I wanted to go hear her. I know she released a lot of gems and a lot of really jewels that really gave me life. And so I wanted to be in that event and to hear what she had to say. But I also knew I was going to run into, for the first time, many of those people who um, were from that other organization. And my hands at 2 and 8 o'clock on the steering wheel. I could feel the grip in my hands getting tighter and tighter and stronger. And then the tears just started flowing. And they were flowing primarily because I was tired of those people and that situation consuming so much of me. I knew that there was power that I had relinquished to them, or that was taken away from me in that situation, that I was tired of it having the effect on me that it was having. And so I heard myself say, I choose to love them. Now, you might be saying, okay, I can really relate to this, Yvette. I've been in situations like that where I was giving my all. I was doing my very best. I was supporting them. I was open to even leadership saying, hey, we want to do it this way. And let's talk through how this can be done in a more positive way. You were doing all those things. You were supportive. You were there front and center, working, giving your talents and your gifts. And then all of a sudden, everything went left and you did not see that coming. And that is a very hurtful place. That's you feel like you've been ambushed. You feel like you've been um just all of a sudden jack slapped, and it's like we were just having a really good conversation. We were just going and making plans and strategies on how we could build the organization, how we could go forward, and then all of a sudden this happened. Well, that's when you can walk away or be forced away, and you're carrying all of that baggage. And I'm saying to you, it's not worth it. Lay aside all that baggage, let it go. And the only way you can truly let it go is if you can say, as I was hearing within myself say, riding down to that event with the tears streaming down my face, my hands gripping that steering wheel, I choose to love them. Now, that doesn't mean that you choose to be in their space, in their presence all the time. There's a healthy distance, healthy boundaries. We need to have boundaries. But it does mean that I recognize that every one of us comes with a purpose. Every one of us has gifts to the world and to specific people and to specific areas. And I pray that your very best comes forth so that the people that you're supposed to connect with, the areas that you're supposed to transform, actually receive your best. That's what it means. And we don't ever have to engage in another conversation, not out of avoidance, but just our our paths are not aligning any longer. That's all. Our paths are not aligning. It's not that I'm avoiding you. It's not that I dislike you, because I've after that event, and I did arrive to that event, cleaned myself up before I went in, composed myself. I arrived before that group did, or before members of that group did, and I postured myself. I got myself ready. How do you play this out, Yvette? How do you play out choosing to love them? And I played it out by simply greeting them, and greeting them in a pleasant fashion. I didn't try to sit among them and engage in extended conversation. I didn't seek their approval. I didn't seek to validate them or have them validate me anymore. But I did hope that their best would come and shine. And all of this did not automatically happen. Welcome. Thank you for joining. We're talking about walking away free. And when you've been hurt and you've been in pain, and then all of a sudden you're finding yourself like, I'm carrying this too long. I'm carrying this pain too long. I'm carrying it. It's consuming too much of my mindset, too much of my heart and my spirit. And I may be unconscious of it for the most part until I hear a voice, or till I see something that they post, or until I run into their presence um, in a mall or somewhere. Then I get this trigger that lets me know there's something still there, and you're not done. And again, as I'm advocating, encouraging you, if you can get to the place where you can say, I choose to love them. And again, it's not from wanting to be around them all the time, being in their company, having conversations with them. It's choosing to decide that I want you and your very best to show up in the world, so that the people that you are supposed to connect with get your very best and don't experience what I experienced. And maybe there's a connection that is more healthier for you than what our connection was. I still don't understand why and how sometimes um, we are forced to move on from different places with a negative experience, but it does happen. You could be in the workplace and you're on an assignment with under a leader, and that leader is just not leading you well, or not providing the information that you need, or not communicating. everything and you feel like I've got to dig and I've got to prod and I've got to try to figure all this out on my own. Where's the support that I should be getting because this person is in meetings and in rooms that I don't have privy to and they could, if I had that information in a timely fashion, we could do so much better. And it's just not been a really great experience for you. And as you're moving away from that, we need to learn how to wish them the best, leave that situation behind because you want to be open to all the new and great things that are ahead of you. And we cannot do that if I'm allowing all of this other junk and gunk and pain and hurt following me. And I know when I say to you, my hands were gripping that steering wheel, and I heard within myself say, "I choose to love them." That's not the that's not the response that you're expecting, especially in the workplace, because we don't talk about love in the workplace. But again, what it means is I choose to hope the very best for you. I hope that you get to a place where you can be strong and really supportive and really shine, that those who are around you will really benefit from that. That's what it means. That's what it means. And so we need to be able to um, let go of those things. And again, like I said, I had opportunity to run into them even after that event. And every time it got easier. Again, I wasn't saying, "Hey, let's go have lunch, let's go have dinner, let's meet up for brunch." Wasn't doing that because that time period of the relationship was over. But I could greet them and even intentionally go up and embrace them and hug them and say, "Hey, how are you doing? I just wanted to say hello," and keep it moving. Not keep it moving again because I'm trying to avoid anyone, but keep it moving because our paths have now gone a different route. And so if you are in a space where you see someone's post and it triggers you, or someone asks you about, "Well, what happened?" The more we rehearse what happened, the more we share it. There is a time period where you need to talk about it and you need to get it out. But if you find yourself talking about it over and over and over again, I'm going to encourage you that it may be time to let it go. Let it go. And how do you let it go? You say, "This did happen." And that's one of the mistakes that I think some of us make. We assume that, well, let's just it didn't happen that way. Um, I'm making too much out of it. Um, it really, it really, you know, we can ignore it. We can just push it down and act like it didn't happen. That is the worst thing you can do because in your your perspective is your reality. You know that what you felt and what you experienced was very, very real. And you must acknowledge that. You must acknowledge it. However, don't dwell there, don't live there. Acknowledge, yep, that happened. Now, what am I going to do with this now? I'm going to pick myself up, figure out, did I contribute to any of this? If so, what do I need to do differently? And I can't control the actions of other people, but I can create healthy balance boundaries and I can choose to love them in the sense that I hope and I pray that their very best shines and comes to the surface so that those that they do encounter, those that they do run into, those that they are serving, or those that they are leading really get the benefit of their best self and not what I saw. We're all growing. We're all growing. Organizations grow, individuals grow. Individual organizations are made up of individuals, right? So an organization is not an entity unto itself without the people. So we all grow. And if someone, let's give those places, those spaces, those people the um the right and the ability to grow beyond where they were when you were there. And so as and this is in relationship to another organization, which really triggered me to do this podcast today or this vlog today, is that I kept seeing some people celebrating an organization, and I was like, yeah, that wasn't my experience. And it was triggering something inside of me, and I'm like, it's time to let this go. And that doesn't negate the fact that what I experienced, I have proof, documentation, and everything. But I do hope that what they're bringing forth now, what they're sharing in their hallways, what they're sharing from their leadership to the individuals who are still in that organization, I really hope they do mean what they're saying, and I hope they'll be true to what they're saying so that those who are still there benefit from the culture shifting to that place, to that better place. And we need to, um, that's a part of our healing too, to give everybody an opportunity to change and shift to the better place. Because I can guarantee that you would not want anyone to go through what you went through with them. And if that's the case, we do want them to get better. We do want them to treat people better. We do want them to become stronger. And so I'm encouraging you to walk away free by choosing to love in the sense that you want the best for that individual, you want the best for that organization to shine and to serve, to fulfill their promises and their vision so that everyone is thriving. Because isn't that what I say every week? Remember that it takes all of us. It takes all of us to create a healthy culture where everyone can thrive and be their very best. And that means we have to give people space to move from here to here and from here to here. And so that doesn't mean you have to stay there if you need a fresh start. You don't have to stay a part of that assignment team or um, a part of that project or maybe even a part of that organization because we all need a fresh start. And it would be great if you can get the fresh start within that organization. But everybody should have a fresh start. And then in that fresh start, let that stuff go. Let the hurt and the pain go. It's weighing you down and it's not healthy. And when you figure out as I was holding that, and when I heard inside me and it came out of my mouth, I choose to love them. And I was like, did I just say that? So I had to continue to repeat it and let it get louder in the car, in my presence, in my spirit, in my soul, so that I was like, this is what I'm saying. And now it's not just something that's coming from within me, but I'm intentionally now saying it. I choose to love them. Tears still coming. I choose to love them. Tears still coming. I choose to love them. I choose. I don't want to give them or this thing that space anymore in my head, in my heart, in my atmosphere. It's got to go. It's taking up too much energy. I choose to love them. Again, what does that mean? I choose to allow them and hope for them to be their very best, to show up in the world so that others who will still be in contact with them can be their very best. Remember, it takes all of us to create a healthy culture in our organizations, around and in our own personal spaces where everybody can thrive. This is Yvette C. Owens. That's my story. I'm sticking to it for today. If you want to connect with me, if you find yourself as someone who is going through or in this space and wants someone to help walk with you through that journey, really connect with me. My contact information is going across the screen. If you're a leader in an organization and you want to know how can I help people who may join my team who are coming from those kind of situations or who are dealing with them, those kind of negative situations in my space by another leader, and I want to know how do I help them, reach out. I can certainly help and help you develop a plan, a strategy to move forward in health and in a better, much better situation. Please share this. Please share, 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 because I am running into so many people who are hurting and who are still living day to day in pain, and they don't have to. They don't have to, and I'm here to help. I am a speaker. If you're looking, I have openings on my calendar to come and speak to your organization. I facilitate workshops, and again, I am an author, the author of Conquering Corporate Enemies, Mind, Personalities, and Situations. These are ways we can work together. There's a companion workbook. I'm happy to come in and do some workshops and teachings around all of that and what that means. How do you really take the group and your team dynamics to a much healthier space? We can define that and we can do it. So have an amazing weekend. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing. Visit www.destinyspeak.com where you'll find more about the work that I'm doing. Visit the tabs. If you look at the Diplomat Chronicles tab within that works website, you'll see more products, more things available for you. My signature program is there. I'm here to help because, again, I don't want people to go through what I went through, but not from a bitter place anymore. That's that's not why I want it. I'm not saying it from a bitter place anymore. I want people to be healed so that they can show up and show up strong and powerful so others can glean from all that you have within you. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye bye.